Hi everyone, thanks for being here today. I have an awesome video to share some little tips and tricks of my top 10 things to de-influence you as a flight attendant or someone who travels a lot. These tips, if you will, are specific to flight attendants, but if you are a frequent traveler, you might be able to pick from some of these ideas as well. But just so you know, they are aimed towards flight attendants and flight crew, or pilots and people of that nature. So I also wanted to include a disclaimer. If you are someone that enjoys doing these things, buying these things, and have all the ability to do so, there's no shame to that. A lot of things on this list can be fun for people and fun for flight attendants and travel people as well. And I don't want to discourage people from doing the things they enjoy or like. This is more aimed towards people like me when I first started in the industry who maybe didn't have a bunch of money to spend, people who have never had any relatives or anyone in the industry to help guide them on good practices for themselves. So that is kind of who it's more meant for, but I'm sure everyone could get some good pointers or reminders from this video. When you start in this industry, I feel like it's pretty easy to have this vision built up in your head. So the image for flight attendants for decades, ever since we have had flight attendants, is that we are glamorous, put together, have our makeup, hair, outfit on point all the time, and that it's kind of a coveted, hard to get at times position. So that's kind of in the back of my mind also as I share these tips. Some of these things that I'm talking about are material items, and then towards the end of the list, it's things that are more lifestyle tips. So here we go. Number one on the list is fancy bags, suitcases, purses, luggage items. A lot of us flight attendants and flight crew don't get to choose what kind of bags we want. The company will tell us and provide them, if anything. But I will say I've been known to be suckered into Googling and comparing what extra things I have that I want to change. So I have my suitcase, right? And then I also have my own purse that is a little bit larger than the company issued one to fit my apron, lunch, pens, and other duty items in. So when I first started, I loved seeing some people have cool leather backpacks they use. Some people have all the way up until really expensive designer things. And it looks nice with the uniform, don't get me wrong. And I love that for people that have the ability to do that, but you don't need to do that. My first bag I got was from Amazon for $30, and it lasted maybe 6 months and then ripped because it was just cheap. But I now have one, also $30 from Target, and it's a black bag that fits the look of what the company wants of us. But anyways, it's from Target and it has lasted for over a year now. They don't have the exact one online, but check my previous What's in My Bag video for a link to similar ones. But you don't need to spend a bunch of money on bags and extra things. It's definitely not necessary. And try not to compare what you have to others, because whatever works for you works for you. I get compliments on my bag all the time, and it's something that was really inexpensive and from Target. Number two, don't worry about buying the most cutest or something pricey for shoes. And this one goes out to all the new hires who are scrambling to find shoes that fit the criteria of what your company wants. A lot of people, I realized when we first got out of training, went straight to the shoe store, and I was gobsmacked. People were dropping over $100 on a pair of high heels to fit the compliance of our uniform, just to turn around and try to sell them 2 weeks later when they realize that they are not comfortable and they can't walk in them. So this is a reminder that shopping at places like Payless, Famous Footwear, off-Broadway stores here in Colorado, discount shoe stores can have shoes for you. Amazon sometimes has cheaper options, but you don't need the most expensive shoes or the ones with the highest heels to look good in your uniform. And I've been thinking about this one personally a lot lately because I need new shoes and mine are getting really worn. and I'm asking girls where they're getting them and they're cute and this and that, but I just look at the prices of things these days and it's just crazy how much shoes actually cost. So don't worry about being the most stylish if that means sacrificing your coins. Just do what's comfortable, what fits with your company's guidelines, and you will be just fine, I promise. That brings me to point number 3. When you start in this industry, or if you're like me, a girl that loves YouTube, you see videos all the time where flight attendants or other creators are sharing their Amazon must-have lists. And usually that contains gadgets, single-purpose plastic items, and it's such an excess of things. And I'm gonna tell you, you really don't need any of those things. Sure, they do provide great ideas of things that might be helpful, but you don't need to purchase everything you see on someone's must-have list. It almost makes me sick how much people promote these items that are kind of outrageous that you don't need day to day. Granted, I still like watching them from time to time. I think that they're entertaining, and sometimes you do get good ideas from them, but you don't need to purchase everything. So keep that in mind next time you watch one of those Amazon must-haves, favorites, what you need for the spring season or summer coming up. You just simply don't need all those items. Not all of us are buying all of them, and you don't have to feel like you must get them either. So remember that. I think it's also important to make good use of the things we have in our own home and to pause, take a look around. Also, reusing things is great. So trying to repurpose things in your house, or reuse like a makeup bag as a travel bag. I reuse little, if I get small size or samples of toiletries, I'll clean them out once I'm done with them, reuse those as containers for my toiletries to pack with me. So take a look around, and it's also better for the environment if you care about those things too. Number 4, don't feel like you have to eat out on every layover just for the sake of eating out. And what I mean by that is whenever we go to new cities, especially when it's places we've never been before, I'm pretty guilty of Googling what that city might be known for, what's a popular coffee, tea, drink, cuisine, type of food in the area. And then it kind of creates this want to go try it, which is all fine. And that's such a fun part of being a flight attendant. And I'm not trying to suck the joy out of any layover, but don't feel pressured to have those things if it's not in the budget, or if it's not something that you genuinely think you'll like or want to do. For example, I know Maine is known for lobster rolls, so everyone that I know, flight attendants love to go get them when they're there. I don't like lobster rolls. I'm not gonna go and get that. I'm gonna pack my own lunch, save my money, and if the crew wants to go out and do that, and I go along, I'm not gonna feel pressured to try something that gives me that hit of dopamine or that feeling like I'm part of it, because you're allowed to do different things. While I love trying new things and eating out, if it's not the time for you and not in the pocketbook, it's not the time, and that is okay. You don't have to, and chances are you'll probably be back to that place some point if you stay with the company long enough and do this job long enough. So don't feel like if now's not the right time that you're never gonna do that, because that's simply not true in most cases. That's kind of connected to point number 5, is that not every layover needs to be a shopping trip. So this is a kind of funny one, because there are girls out there who pick up layovers, and guys and people too, just to shop in those areas. They know what's on their grocery list, whether it's a grocery store, they have their favorite clothing stores, they get facials in certain places, all sorts of material items and experiences that they go to shop for and go to those specific cities just to get. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to feel like you need to join in on the shopping experience if that's not your purpose for going to work today. So while I do love a shopping trip here and there, I don't think you need to go along with everyone else if they're doing that too. Sometimes it's nice to save that money. And sometimes I like to go along with my crew that's going to a certain store. Like, we love the Primarks. If you know, you know. And I'll go around to look, but then maybe I'll set a budget beforehand and just get really strict with myself so I don't end up blowing the whole amount of money I would have made on a shopping trip. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it is, love that, but you don't need to turn every trip into a shopping trip. Remember why you're at work. Most of us are there to make money, so don't forget that. Similar to that is number 6, you don't need to feel pressured to go out with your crew on every layover. So this is less of a material thing, this is more of a concept or idea, but I think when I first started being a flight attendant, I was excited to see the cities that I was visiting, and if there were other new people with me or more adventurous people that were interested in going out, we would all make plans to go together. Now, it's not the situation for every layover, but you get what I mean. If the whole crew's going out or if a lot of people want you to join, don't feel like you have to. You're allowed to say no or not today. This is something that I feel everyone struggles with throughout their whole career, is learning when to take rest for yourself versus go, go, go and following along with other people's plans. For example, I was on an international trip at the beginning of the year, I think, and the crew wanted to go do sightseeing and tours, and then beforehand they wanted to go to the grocery store and all that. So I wanted to go to the grocery store, and that was on my itinerary because I was in a new country and that's fun for me. But I ended up saying yes to doing this whole tour around the city, which I didn't know we were gonna be out that late. It was freezing, and I had fun for about half the time, and then it was kind of miserable because it was so cold, and that's just not what I wanted to do. My plan was something completely different, and I just went along with it so that I wouldn't be alone. And it's okay to do things by yourself, be alone, and enjoy your day, and don't feel like you have to just because everyone else is doing it. You can make your own itinerary and be comforted in the fact that that's probably what's best for you on that day. There will always be another time, there will always be another layover and another crew that'll want to do stuff in the future. Number 7, is that 7? Yes, number 7. You don't have to be friends with everyone you work with. This one, I hope no one gets offended by, because I love my crew members and I love my coworkers, but everyone knows that in this industry, there's lots of people. There's tens and thousands of us at each major company. And of course, everyone wants to have a good day and a good crew. When you walk on board at the beginning of the day, you introduce yourself, hopefully, to your flying partners, and you kind of want that click to happen where, oh, I get you, we're gonna have fun, or we're gonna have a calm trip, just someone that you get along with. And if it doesn't work out that way, which there will be tons of moments you're not vibing with a certain person, that's okay. You don't need to feel like you have to win them over or be friends with them. And this is something that is more specific to my people pleasers out there. I know there's people that will get this right off the bat, but people like me want to be friends with people and want to have a good time, but people show up to work in all sorts of different stages of life, whether they're not having a good day, maybe they have family stuff going on at home, or maybe you guys are just not the best of friends. It's all right. You can get along at work and not have to go out with them and not have to feel like you have to make up for the fact that you guys don't like gel together. It's okay. You probably won't see them or work with them in the near future because that's just the nature of our job. And you can be content knowing like you do you and I'll do me, and then that's the end of it. It doesn't have to be mean, doesn't have to be a nasty kind of thing. It just is what it is, and that is okay to do. Number 8 is one of my personal favorites to talk about, and this kind of relates to the beginning of the video, how I was saying your perception of what a flight attendant or travel job might be is that things might look glamorous from the outside in. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need to look put together and at your 100 every single day. So yes, of course it's important to feel like you're putting effort into your job, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to put on makeup for the job. You don't have to style your hair in a elaborate way just to feel like you fit in at the job. But if that's not your thing, you don't have to feel like you need to do it. While I do think it's important to be groomed, so taking showers, smelling not offensive on a plane, and brushing your teeth and having good hygiene, that doesn't mean you need to put on 10 pounds of makeup to feel like you might fit in with other people. And there's some glamorous girls and guys out there, but that doesn't mean that if that's not your thing, that's not your thing. Don't feel like you have to. There's days where I might not have time to do the makeup that I usually like to do, and I'm running out of my hotel room, which happens most days. And I kind of, no shame, will do my makeup and finish what I need to do in the crew van. Sometimes I leave my house with no makeup, no hair done, and get to work just to make sure I have that extra time. Once I go through security, then I'll go to a space in our crew room, for example, and do my makeup and hair then. Because to me, being on time and maybe making breakfast and coffee in the morning might be more important than doing my makeup and hair. So just know that it's okay to not do those things as long as you show up in a presentable way, whatever that means to you. Number 9 is you don't need to fly international trips to feel cool or like you're a big time flight attendant or to have a fun time. So a lot of people starting this job also feel that that is the end goal. International is the best to them. That's what they started the job for, and that is a great goal and a great dream to have. If you're with one of the big airlines in the US like I am, then you will probably have the opportunity to do those things. So I was able to do that during my first year of flying, which was amazing. But during COVID, my lifestyle just brought me to a different base. So now I'm based in Denver instead of DC. And I knew going into being based in Denver that there is not a lot of international flying at my airline. It's not known for that. Almost all of the flying that we do is going to be domestic. So I don't want you guys to feel bad about yourself, or sometimes like when I make content, I feel like it might not be as fun if I'm not going to an exotic destination to show everyone. But just know that you can still have just as much fun going to a new city or somewhere domestically than you do going internationally. You can still discover new things and places, and some places might even surprise you. Like I found I like some places in the Midwest a lot more than I thought that I would, and more than even big cities in the US. So if it's not the right time for you to experience that, just know that you're still every ounce of cool or glamorous that you want to be. And if that's your goal in the future, you will have a chance to do that. But like people like me, if now's not the time, I look at my friends doing it, I'm jealous, I wish I could be there, I'm so happy for them, but it's okay. You shouldn't feel down about it, because when your time's right, your time's right. And if you plan on staying in this industry for a long time, like I do, then there's so much more out there that you'll get to when the time is right. And lastly, my last point, number 10, this one I think is super important for everyone to be reminded of, or if you're new, to learn quickly. You can say no to some trips. Sorry, I had to pause for a second because the cat feeder just went off. But anyways, number 10, you can say no to some trips. If you hear her eating behind me, don't be bothered by it. Then no, you didn't. But anyways, there's always gonna be another trip to look out for, to trade for, and to be online. And I have to say, it can get to an obsessive point for some people to be on their phones and iPads trip trading and looking for the next best thing. And this kind of goes with a lot of things being a flight attendant, is we're always kind of looking for the next big trip, the next base we want to be at, the next adventure that awaits us. But I do think a good thing to learn and something to de-influence you about is you don't need to constantly be doing that. I can personally say when I stop seeking better trips out, and sometimes when I just work my schedule that I was given or maybe traded earlier in the month, and then I don't have to worry about trading, sometimes that gives me the best opportunity to rest and sleep and not be up all night on my computer trying to trade things. It can really influence your quality of sleep, your home life, and what you want to do. And since I haven't been posting in a few weeks, you might have noticed, I just haven't been flying quite as much or doing as crazy of trips. I've been doing some turns and just some simple things that I wanted to do, but kind of besides the point. Just working things where I'm able to be home is so nice sometimes, and not having to worry about grabbing a 3-day international or a 3-day Hawaii trip. Sometimes it's nice just to take what you got and then spend some time at home and center yourself and spend time doing the things you like to do. So instead of being up all night trading, I cooked a lot of food last night with my partner. We had a great time. And instead of being up all night trading, I've been getting better at my sleep schedule and getting more good quality rest at home. So there's lots of benefits to slowing down and just kind of saying no to wanting to do certain trips. Also, you know what's best for you. Sometimes our bodies are tired and cannot take another trip. Sometimes it's good just to pause and slow down for a bit. So maybe your friend's working a trip and wants you to come along, or maybe someone invites you to go on their layover and you don't have to work. But even just the act of flying is really exhausting, even if you're not even working, because it's dehydrating. It requires the energy and the mental energy too to get to the airport on time, keep track of your schedule, get on the plane, make sure you don't miss anything. Sometimes you just need that break to say, you know what, I need the rest, I need some alone time, I need some home time. Sometimes I think there's no place like my own bed at home, and that's enough to make me want to stay somewhere in between where I'm able to be home at the end of the night. So those are my 10 de-influencing tips for flight attendants, flight crew, or just frequent travelers. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, trying to grow my channel. If you have any suggestions of other travel related or flight attendant related content that you'd like to see from me, then please leave your ideas below. I'd be happy to consider them. But yeah, I hope you gained something out of this video and that it helped at least remind you of focusing on what's important in this industry, because it is easy to get distracted. But anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Drink your water, stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time. Bye.